Hello members, good evening. My name is Abel Katongore, a participant from Group 3, and we are presenting lessons learned from the COVID-19 pandemic for firms that engage in global value chains. COVID-19 pandemic has highlighted the vulnerabilities and risks associated with global value chains. The global value chains involve the fragmentation of production across different countries and regions, where each stage of production process is carried out in the most efficient location. The pandemic has disrupted these chains and highlighted the need for firms to reconsider their supply chain strategies. The following are some of the lessons learned from the pandemic. Number one, diversification is a key to surviving future pandemics and other disruptions. COVID-19 has shown us that reliance on single source of supply is risky and that there is a need for diversifying suppliers and products to mitigate the impact of disruptions. For example, Ugandan coffee exporters have started diversifying their market to reduce their reliance on traditional markets like Europe and the US. Number two, we have the resilience is important for global supply chains. The pandemic has highlighted the importance of resilience in global supply chains. Firms realize that the need to build resilience is important by being flexible and adapting to the changing circumstances. We also have multiple suppliers that reduce the impact of disruptions. COVID-19 ripple effects have shown that sourcing from multiple suppliers can ensure steady supply of raw materials and reduce on the risk of shortage during disruptions. We also have tracking logistics is also crucial. Identifying disruptions early, firms have learned that real-time monitoring of logistics can help them identify disruptions early and take actions to mitigate their impact. For example, the Ugandan pharmaceutical companies have started using tracking technologies to monitor the movement of drugs and medical supplies to ensure timely delivery.
I'm Navseke Caroline. I'm also continuing with the lessons learned, and the other lesson is agility and flexibility are important in adapting to supply chain to changing circumstances. And here we see firms like Nightil that change their production lines to production of face masks and Kachda to production of sanitizers. Another, we see digital technologies and are essential for improving resilience. And here we see Jumia and Safe Border saw increased demand for their online platforms during the epidemic, and customers turned to shopping online and delivery services. Another 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 lesson we see is localization of production and sourcing capabilities is important. And with this, we see the Uganda Manufacturers Association (MUMA) has called for increased investment in local production facilities to reduce the country's dependence on imports. We have collaboration and coordination are necessary among firms, suppliers, and governments. And here, Uganda National Bureau of Standards has worked closely with the manufacturers to ensure that goods like face masks and sanitizers are of quality standards. Therefore, with the engagement in global value chains need to be prepared for future disruptions by diversifying their suppliers, building agility and flexibility, digitalizing their operations, investing in local production, and fostering collaboration and coordination with their partners and stakeholders. By doing so, there can be better navigate the uncertainties of crises like COVID-19 and emerge stronger and more.
My name is Asia Nachiriewa. I'm going to present strategy options that organizations can consider to survive the current and future pandemics. Strategy are plans of action designed to achieve long-term and short-term goals. The following are the strategic options that can be adapted by organizations to survive the impact of pandemic of COVID-19. The first one is build flexibility and agility. Flexibility and agility is basically the ability of an organization to respond quickly to changes in market and disruptions in the supply chain. For example, Nile Breweries a manufacturer of alcohol beverages, was able to switch to manufacturing sanitizers. The same that we see with textile industries that were able to switch to manufacturing face masks. The second one is to develop a supply chain resilience strategy. This is basically whereby a company establishes contingency plans for production, inventory, lead times, and logistics. The example we see here is Walmart developing a resilience plan during the COVID-19 pandemic that focuses on building flexible supply networks to meet changing customer demands. The other option is diversify supply chains. By diversification, we are basically looking for alternative or multiple sources of raw materials and components.
I'm Ingakram and I'm continuing with the strategies, digital transformation. This can help them to maintain business continuity during the pandemic and reduce the need for physical contact and travel. For example, Uganda exporters can implement virtual collaboration tools to facilitate remote working and minimize the impact of the pandemic on their operations. Automation and digitalization. For instance, firms can implement robots, machine learning, and artificial intelligence to reduce the risk of transmission of the virus among employees. Local production capabilities. Uganda firms can develop local production capabilities, reduce their dependency on global supply chains, and ensure a reliable supply of essential goods and services during the pandemic. Implement risk management strategies. Uganda firms can develop risk management strategies to identify and mitigate risks associated with pandemics and other crises. This can include the development of contingency plans, risk assessments, and business continuity plans.
Thank you, Akram, and earlier presenters. My name is Riga. I'm continuing with the strategies to mitigate such interruptions in future, and one of them is foster collaboration and partnership. During COVID, we saw firms and governments working together, especially to acquire COVID vaccines, and this pooled the procurement strategy helped in procuring the drugs which were scarce. The other strategy was multiple sourcing. Multiple sourcing is basically buying from instead of buying from single suppliers, you have from very many suppliers. So that when one supplier fails, the other suppliers can provide you the item. We saw many companies that were relying on China, buying from other different countries. Another strategy is building inventory buffers. The just-in-time strategy failed during COVID, and firms and organizations had to have some stock just in case something happens, they can continue with the production. In conclusion, the above strategies that were mentioned, when implemented, they can help mitigate interruptions in future pandemics like COVID and others. Thank you for watching.